What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the most important NYCFC talk show. You guys are hanging with the dudes in blue on this Monday evening, or Tuesday, or Wednesday, depending on when you're listening to this. It's episode 109. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm your host, Joe Amato, and alongside me, as always,
Antonino. What is up, everybody?
Dude, what's happening, man?
Not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing, except a million different soccer matches to talk about.
Well, yeah, that's a lot of fun. But as far as NYCFC goes, just
relatively quiet.
A big bunch of nothing.
A big bunch of nothing. Well, we got some storylines to talk about with NYCFC. Not a whole lot, but we will we'll definitely squeeze that in there. But let's we're gonna talk some World Cup tonight because, in case you haven't noticed, the World Cup's happening right now. And we're pretty damn excited about it. I don't know about you guys. Right off the bat, let's say hi to Henry. What's going on? Christian with the notification squad. John Levin, what's happening, dude? Zoran, what's happening? And Fernando, all the way from Hong Kong. Holy cow! It's like Wednesday over there.
What are tomorrow's lottery numbers?
We make Wednesdays great again in Hong Kong. Guys, thanks so much for joining us for episode 109, even though it's relatively quiet on the NYCFC news front. Please do us a favor and share this with your soccer friends, not necessarily just your NYCFC friends tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because we're talking about the world's game tonight. A little bit anyway. We're going to see how much we can get in. I mean, there's a lot going on, but we're gonna do our best. So, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, we're at Dudes in Blue. It's really easy to follow us and join in on the conversation. What's going on, Joey? Very nice to see you in here again as well. So, dude, let's get the NYCFC BS out of the way because
there's not much of it.
There's very much of it, but there's enough. There's enough to be BS. So, Domènec Torrent, which you informed me prior to jumping online that's the actual pronunciation of the man's name.
As far as I'm told, yes.
Domènec Torrent is still not in NYC.
Yeah. So.
Oh, by the way, we're playing Toronto on Sunday.
Yeah. It's actually funny. This break kind of felt a little bit shorter than I thought it was. I guess because there's so much soccer going on, like it kind of fills the gaps. But I was like, it doesn't feel like it's been 2 weeks. But in any case, he's still not here.
That's probably because you and I don't stop. Like the team stops, but we don't stop.
We don't stop.
Shut up.
We won't stop. I told you that we won't stop. No, seriously, he's not here. So, Claudio Reyna was in an interview and he said, expecting midweek. I don't know if that's the case.
I don't know which week.
Exactly.
It could be midweek.
I don't believe anything this team puts out ever on social media unless we come up with it. So, yeah, anybody's guess is as good as mine. I would probably say the two coaches we have, Perez and Vartarian, will probably be filling in if he can't get here in time. They are training, throughout the week, so I don't think the game plan will be deviated from too much. Again, and how much can you really cram into 3 days of training? They're probably not going to train on Saturday prior to the game, so that's going to be tough.
So the good news though, dude, is that because Perez and Vartugian, however you want to pronounce his name, because they're still there and because they're part of the Patrick Vieira system, I don't necessarily think that tactically there's going to be many changes to the way that NYCFC is played. The only thing that I think this is dramatically going to affect is the psychological portion of this game, which is the uncertainty that NYCFC has. So if anything else, it's probably good that this is coming off of a break because everybody the news has the dust is settled, so to speak. People have kind of settled in and understanding that, yes, things are probably going to change, but at least for the next week and maybe for the next match, that's what they're concentrating on. Let's concentrate on playing our game and try not to lose focus of getting the 3 points against Toronto because they're playing at home. We're still undefeated at home this year. So they've got that going for them too.
Yeah, absolutely. Not an easy opponent by any stretch. They always play us very hard.
Their form is not the best, though, this season, and that really happened on the back of...
Look what they did last week with DC, though. DC was up 3-0 at the half, and they ended up coming out with a 4-4 tie. So, That's something to kind of, maybe get up about and be ready to go, for next game. So we'll see what happens with them. But I'm curious to see as what these assistants do with the lineup. I'm curious to see if people who weren't getting minutes get minutes. I'm curious to see if Jonathan Lewis gets in the lineup. At this point, anybody's guess is as good as ours because it's so uncertain. And I don't know who knows if Torrent is made phone calls and say, here, start training this way or do this or do that. I don't think that's the case. I don't think he's probably still trying to figure out who he's bringing with him as far as, coaching and training staff goes.
Lewis Shaw in the comments has been doing the I believe that we will win chant line by line by line in the comments. So, thanks Amazing. For that, Lewis. Dave chimed right in very quickly and said, I believe we're not in the World Cup. I know for a fact that we're not.
True words, never been spoken.
Dave is also saying we want Lewis. I think we all do. I think we all want him. But listen, all of your guesses is as good as ours at this point because I haven't been to training, you haven't been to training or anything. But I don't know, man. Joey is saying that Toronto is playing a lot of high-scoring games this year. Need to attack their back line, which has been injury-plagued. I think we need another high-scoring outing for our boys in blue at home because after the Atlanta match, where we only put away one, with all those scoring chances that we had, I think if you have a similar game like that against Toronto, I think you're going to net more than a goal.
I think so too. Hopefully, we shall see. Funny that we talk about not being in the World Cup and everything like that. I've got to tell you, there are so many fake soccer fans who just come around once every 4 years to join the hype train that know nothing. And it's the greatest thing in the world because you get those people that, when's Italy playing, man? That Brazil game was great, but when's Italy playing? Probably 4 years from now. Those are the people we just walk away from. It's very hard to figure out who's who because people be all up to date, but then you just start picking their brains and be like, oh, you think USA's playing. I'm leaving now.
That's a shame.
It is. It happens. There's the bandwagon fans all over the place. But listen, whatever gets interest drummed up, and if you can milk it and watch MLS games afterwards because you're enticed by the World Cup, more power to it.
Christian Smith says, "Don't get me started. The amount of uninformed people are annoying me, and we're not just soccer. just in general. The real
world, pal.
Just in general. One last note on the Toronto match coming up. I don't know what Lewis did to make Vieira mad, but he needs to get on Torrent's good side, LOL, says Dave.
He has a good side.
We'll see. That remains to be seen. There's a lot that remains to be seen. It's been a very quiet news week for NYCFC because they essentially dumped everything within a matter of 10 hours, and then they're like, we're going to shut up for 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. And surprising, you don't get any. You would like to see more updates from the coach. Listen, it's not hard to get some messages across on social media and, hey, I'm here. Do an impromptu press conference and tell us a little bit about yourself so we get to know you before you just show up and start rearranging everything. But again, this club, I put nothing past them anymore because just the way they botch so many things is just unreal.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. Yeah. Anyway, to I think the last little bit of NYCFC news before we start talking about what I really want to talk about is the fact that Ronald Matarrita is effectively out of the World Cup with a hamstring injury that's set to put him out for a couple of weeks. Dude, can this guy ever not get hurt?
At this point, you really need to start looking within and trying to figure out if he's just running into bad luck or if this is in fact a genetic issue and he's severely injury prone because his legs are just not holding up. First year was pretty fine, I think, first season, and then after that, it's been pretty much downhill nonstop. And you feel for him because he's got the skill set there. I just feel like if this is an injury-prone thing, his body is not going to allow him to really do what he wants to do on the field.
He can't go like 3 or 4 weeks straight of playing without suffering an injury that's putting him out 3-4 weeks. It's like remarkable. Every time the guy sets foot on the pitch, he's like made of glass. I don't understand. And listen, dude, don't get me wrong. I feel horrible for him.
Oh yeah,
because I remember it was probably about 2-3 months ago where he got taken off. I forget which game, guys. If you can remember what game it was, he came off injured. I think it was a game that he started that Ben Sweat had to come in. Who the hell was it? I think it was a home game, but he was.
It was a home game. He was limping at halftime. He limped across the halftime.
Played. And he came off. He came off injured, and he was beside himself because he thought his World Cup chances were over at that point. Fast forward, here we are. He's in Russia, trains with the team, gets hurt. Now he's got to go home. Russia over for Ronald Matarrita. Hopefully he recovers soon. I mean, this is a 2-week injury. This is not, again, the injury status is not coming from NYCFC. This is coming from, I assume, the Costa Rican national team, right? So
more than likely, yeah.
So we're getting, maybe it's a little bit more accurate information because we all know how NYCFC does with injuries. But let us know what you guys think in the comments, guys. I don't, again, like it's not earth-shattering for me at least, dude, that this injury happened. Maybe it's for the best. Maybe for him to be able to get healthy for the rest of the season for NYCFC. Who knows? But, we wish him all the best. We hope he gets well very, very soon. It sucks to miss the World Cup, dude. Like to go there and then leave. That's gotta be heartbreaking.
If, you watch some of these games and see a few guys who have been injured in the World Cup so far, to be immediately brought to tears because you do not know if you'll be able to go next game. The keeper for, who was it today? Tunisia, shoulder injury, got taken out, was in tears sobbing the entire time he was walking off the field. And it's just, it's so sad because, listen, it's not something that happens every year. It's every 4 years. It's a huge honor to play for your country. It's one of the only, if not the only, pure world championship. People can call themselves world champions, but unless you're playing people from all over the world, you're really not. The World Series is not the World Series. It's, North American baseball. it's you're not the world champion of basketball. You're just the NBA champion. So for me, this is that's one of the highest honors you can have. And to be told, hey, you can't go is pretty rough.
Or that you're going and you got to go home. Like you're there and you suffer an injury and you're like, that's it. You can't even get a minute on the pitch in one of these games. It's pretty unfortunate for Matarrita. I hope he gets better soon. That's
for sure.
I remember we had this conversation. I was like, he was upset in the locker room after that match because he was afraid of his World Cup chances. Sure enough, he bounced back from that injury pretty quickly, and unfortunately, he gets there and that's it, dude. You got to go home. Sorry.
I wonder if this is not something that's ongoing and that's not healing properly.
Just recurring.
And it's not. Maybe not so much that it's recurring. It's the fact that something is bothering him somewhere in his leg, injury. and he's overcompensating by doing something irregular that he normally wouldn't do. That's causing other issues going on within his leg. So remains to be seen. We just hope that once and for all he takes enough time out, doesn't rush back. We've got Ben Sweat, more than serviceable back there. Take your time and get healthy. Still a young guy, a long career ahead of you. But if you don't stay healthy, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, dude, at this point, with knowing that the World Cup chances are now officially out of sight for him, now it's just a matter of getting healthy, being able to finish out the season with NYCFC, and then figure out what happens after that. Because honestly, dude, at this point, with as many injuries as he's had to himself already, he's a liability at left back. And who else really do we have that can fill that spot besides Ben Sweat? I mean, you might be able to, throw Saad Abdul Salam back there. Maybe he's played Tinnerholm on the left, which we've done before. But other than that, dude, that position's pretty sparse.
It's not just that. It's the fact that, you're trying to churn out players when they're, when they're finished playing with you. If you're looking to sell players, this diminishes his value tremendously. You went from having an all-star left back to an injury-prone player who can't stay on the field. That's a big difference in millions of dollars, and that's probably one of the hits that they're worried about, sadly, more so than anything. But you want the guy to come back. You want the guy to play, be healthy, have fun. At this point, just take your time, get as healthy as possible, make sure you're 100% ready, and just don't be afraid to go at it. Because when you're afraid to keep getting hurt, you end up doing things and you come up lame and you don't go 100%, and that's when you really do your damage. So he's really just got to take his time now and settle down. And again, it's a 2-week injury. Honestly, it could be more. I don't know how bad it really was or what the extent of it was or how it happened. So we shall see. But we hope him all the best because he really is one of the nicest guys on the team, and just
he's talented.
Someone who thoroughly enjoys playing the game.
Yep. No, that's very true. Very true. Okay. So, dude, that pretty much sums up NYCFC news for the last 2 weeks or so. So let's shift over to what we've been kind of teasing at and chatting a little bit about as time goes on. Guys, in the comments right now, I don't care who you think is going to win the World Cup, but I want to know which match you've been excited about the most. What has been your favorite match so far? We've played a handful of matches. Still match day 1. It's crazy how many matches there are. I want to know what your favorite match is so far. Dude, anything that stands out, like just storyline-wise, because we have a lot of storylines here going on, a lot of surprises and a lot of upsets, actually. Let's what do you got?
I'm pretty sure the biggest one so far, maybe not the best game, but the biggest one so far has to be Mexico over Germany.
Sure.
I think that's probably the biggest headline you're going to pull out so far. Best game, hands down for me, was Portugal-Spain. That was action throughout, two powerhouses colliding and ending in a tie rightfully, but just the way the goals were scored and the play leading up to them and things like that. That was a really, really amazing way to really start off the World Cup.
You mean Ronaldo versus Spain?
Versus Spain, yes.
Right? Because
that's exactly what I mean. Because he is a freak.
It's funny because, dude, as we were talking about this, the comments were rolling in. Spain, Portugal being the most entertaining, and that was my exact sentiments. Was like that game, and in particular Spain. The way that Spain was moving the ball around was a thing of beauty. Watching Isco on the ball is just like I want to draw him. I have to draw you.
I want to paint you like one of my French models.
That's right.
Their style of play is so much fun to watch. It's so clean and elegant, and it's just every pass has a purpose, and a couple passes and you're in, and you're
patience.
You're moving. It's unbelievable.
And the passing accuracy.
But how many times have we how many times has a game been hyped up with two powerhouses and it be a complete dud?
More times than what happened last week.
Yeah, that was absolutely one of the most fun games to watch. Honestly, if you were to give one team black jerseys and one team white jerseys and didn't tell us who they were, you would still be entertained.
I would have paid to watch that game for another hour and a half.
Absolutely. That's what a lot of people said. That's what I said. I would gladly take another 90 minutes of that game because it was so much fun to watch.
All day long. We can't discount the fact that Russia absolutely spanked Saudi Arabia in the first opening match, 5-0. I mean, not much to talk about there. I mean, again, it's just like it's the hosting country. You like to see them get a victory. Saudi Arabia was just absolutely atrocious, which makes me even more upset that Italy is not in the World Cup. I know, completely different confederations. Before you people in the comments start, going crazy on me, but just like that quality, and then knowing that Italy's not in it is just infuriating to me. That's just watching that. That's what I thought. It was just very, very frustrating. Aside from that, dude, the fact that Iran is at the top of Group B right now is kind of funny when you're in the same group as Spain and Portugal.
Yeah, all the big teams either tied or lost, or France wins and doesn't look very good at doing so. But just interesting not to say it won't shake out the way most of us would have hoped or would have had our brackets drawn up.
No, but it's just against the grain.
Yeah, it's a little not odd. I mean, anybody can beat anybody, but it's just not what you would have expected.
No, not even close.
I would not have expected Australia to play France that hard. Good, yes, they are a decent squad. I mean, they've gotten through the group stages before, but again, you just don't expect it, especially with the talent that France brings. They just didn't look like you said it today to me, no personality with them. You know, it was just 11 different guys playing, not like a team.
A different game, yeah. Dude, real quick, I just want to jump into a comment here real quick. David says, sorry guys, can't make it tonight. Celebrating my 2-year anniversary with my wife. Happy anniversary, David.
It's actually funny that's your 2-year anniversary because tonight is my 2-year anniversary.
Really?
With Lauren, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Except she's at work and I'm here.
She has no due to the match to update, so
she doesn't. She's good. She's off. That's a gift.
That's good.
No,
That's
no
good.
due to the match. Not necessary.
Daniel is just popping in a little late saying, let's go Belgium. We'll talk about Belgium in a couple of minutes. But, dude, going back to the France thing, dude, I was very surprised. Again, the result was not indicative of the way the match played out, right? That was the one game where the score sheet didn't add up to the way that the game was actually played. Australia did play them really hard. I was very, very impressed with the way that they actually held up. But I think it's more to France's discredit than it was to Australia's credit because they just couldn't put it together.
Yeah, agreed. Just not what. That's something that you really wouldn't expect. You really expected more out of a team that a lot of people are picking to actually go all the way.
Me included. That's exactly right. Just the way I pick my brackets, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I think the other very surprising game. Maybe not necessarily so much in the surprise in the result, but in the surprise of a certain particular player, was Argentina and Iceland drawing at 1-1. Dude, Messi was messy.
Really honest, at this point, relinquish the PKs to Aguero.
Dude, I said that. I texted my buddy who was watching at the same time. I said, why did they let Messi take that PK? It made absolutely no sense to me. Aguero steps up. He's burying that. He's not going to try to finesse it in. He's going to blast it through the top of the net, and it's going to go in. I can't understand. But, dude, it wasn't even just that. Messi did not have a Messi-type game. He was very off. His shot accuracy was atrocious.
Yeah, I don't understand the disconnect between national and club team for him. When so many players thrive with their national teams just because it's, the heritage, the language, and so on. But he just, for some reason, I think that there is so much pressure on him. At this point, he's on like the negative side of it where it's really beating him up. And what do you do in those instances? Don't let him take penalties. Let someone else take it and win the game. And gain confidence that way. Listen, I didn't play very well, but we won the game, and I can improve. And you play harder next game, and if you win, then you keep going, and eventually you'll come out of it. But if you keep putting somebody in high pressure situations like that, especially when you're playing Iceland, they're not like a pushover, but you're expected to win.
They're nothing to sneeze at though. I kind of brushed them off. I was like, Argentina's gonna wipe the floor with these guys, but. Dude, they defended well, and to their credit,
the Sons of Iceland.
It was
that was the first time I've looked at a lineup sheet, and everyone's last name ended in the word "son." I was like, oh, they're all sons, the Sons of Iceland.
That's funny. That's really funny. It's just.
You gotta shake something up.
Again, very exciting in the sense that this was not the way that we thought that things were going to play out, right? Like it was just
sure.
Which now I'm completely throwing everything to the wind here, and just watching it for pure enjoyment because I'm like, anything can happen at this point, right? You shift over to Costa Rica, Serbia. Costa Rica just couldn't make it happen, right? Serbia just 1-0. Nothing really to say there. Rodney Wallace didn't make any appearance in that match. It's just just the way it goes, I guess. Hold on a second. Got a comment here about the Argentina-Iceland match from Daniel. realistically, say Aguero misses the PK. Isn't the entire conversation how you do not have the best player in the world taking the penalty kick? Kind of a lose-lose for the coach there unless he makes it, obviously.
It is, but at the same time, you have to realize that the pressure is mounting on the same person. This is a person who quit last tournament because Argentina lost.
He did sky a penalty in that.
He quit after the game. He said, "I'm not playing anymore." Like that is to the amount of pressure that is on this guy, and you need to alleviate some of that. As a coach, you need to understand that yes, he is the best player in the world, or one of the best players in the world, because there are two. But for me, the best player in the world is scoring 3 goals in the game, not missing penalties.
Here's the thing, dude. You look at a guy like Lionel Messi, and dude, listen, there is no argument that Messi and Ronaldo are the 2 best soccer players on the planet, right? I'm not saying that he is not one of the 2 best in the world. What I will say is, as much as I hate Ronaldo, and dude,
yes, me too.
As much as I love to not like that guy, he's able to perform. He's been able to perform in several leagues, own several leagues, own the international shirt, and this is where Messi has fallen short, dude. You got to remember, Messi has owned La Liga. That's it.
He's worn 1 shirt.
That's it. Okay?
He's worn 1 shirt.
And he's got nothing to show for wearing an Argentinian shirt. So you got to ask yourself, like, okay, at what point do you start? I mean, listen, trophies-wise, they're pretty much neck and neck, Messi and Ronaldo. But when you look at everywhere that Ronaldo has been able to go, he's been able to perform. You cannot say the same about Lionel Messi. And the other day against Iceland is a perfect example of that. You might as well have let Higuain take it, the guy who's allergic to goals for Argentina.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's very interesting. It's very interesting, and it's hard. What do? You're right. It's a lose-lose situation. If someone else misses that, you're the worst coach in the world. But at the same time, you've got to realize that you've got a guy who's been missing them left and right. You got to change something, and I think you got to really shake up the guy who's having issues and try to take some of the pressure off of him.
Yeah, but then again, dude, like this was a squad that we're going back to Argentina here, but the fact that the team as a whole just wasn't putting it together. Yeah, it's easy to blame Messi because he's the best player in the world, right? But just because you put the ball on his foot doesn't mean that magically the game's going to completely turn around. It's like it's like we always talked about Pirlo. You need the players around you to be able to showcase what that guy can do, and honestly, it just wasn't really happening. Iceland played a very good defensive game, so they held him to that, but yeah, very, very surprising. Very, very surprising from Argentina. I thought they were going to be an offensive powerhouse, but it just really hasn't happened.
They just don't. For some reason, they're missing that one thing. It's like one thing is not clicking.
You
for
got
them.
Messi on your team. You have freaking Lionel Messi on your team.
It's
what
not
are you
even
missing?
that. You've got it's Messi, Aguero, Higuain, Dybala. You've got 4 or 5 really world class players, and it's just for some reason I don't know what it is. I just don't know what it is. It's whether who wants the ball more, if there's a problem there with possession of individual guys' contributions. I don't know what it is, but sometimes they just can't get out of their own way.
Oh, my God. It was just – I couldn't believe it. All right, guys, in the comments, what do you feel about Mexico? Comments blown up. Mexico, Germany. Mexico beating Germany 1-0.
Unreal.
Look, I don't want to say I'm supporting Mexico. I'm not going to pull Landon Donovan here, but you got to give them credit for playing their game and playing it well. Dude, did you hear that? You heard that the seismograph in Mexico City went off.
Yes.
Because the people were jumping. That's amazing.
Intense. Yes. That to me is what this sport is all about, and how you can stop whatever's going on in whatever said country. You can fill a park with hundreds of thousands of people, and cause an earthquake.
Amazing. Absolutely incredible.
So much fun. So
and listen, dude,
much
well
fun.
deserved. Well deserved.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, that game should have been like 3 or 4-0.
Germany did, again, another team that you thought was going to come in and completely smoke it. They didn't have the identity. They were not clean. They just couldn't get it done. And here
they
you
had
have
their
a Mexico
opportunities.
Huh?
They had their opportunities. They had their chances. The issue is that Mexico was able to absorb everything that Germany had.
Dude, the last like 30 minutes of the game. But
to be able to counter
every player
and create scoring chances that way after absorbing so much pressure was unbelievable. That game, literally, Mexico had 3 or 4 chances to put the ball in the back of the net with odd man rushes. The one at the end between
the final pass just wasn't there.
Chicharito and Carlos Vela. Dude, get rid of that ball as fast as you possibly can.
Put it too
and
far
take it to the home. He waited too long, and then
yes,
that.
Yeah.
Things like that. I mean, they could have racked it up. But again, kudos to them for being able to absorb pressure for not 2 minutes, for not 5 minutes, for like 15,
40,
10,
20, 30 minutes
at a time. Unbelievable.
Yeah, kudos to them, man. I gotta hand it to them. It was really funny because it was yesterday. It was Father's Day. So I had Frankie come over to watch the game at 11 o'clock. I go downstairs. I have my Germany kit on, right? I open the door. He's full on Mexico, and he's like, I thought we were on the same team. And I was like, I had a Germany kit upstairs. Cape. That's what I decided to put on.
Was he wearing a green cape?
He was wearing a green to my door with a green cape on. I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. Dude, a couple questions here, which has come up a couple times here. Both Henry and Daniel are talking about, do we think Germany missed Sane in that game? Dude,
Yes. Yes. There is no reason for that man to not be on the squad.
Yes. Okay. Fine. I agree with you. 100%. But was he the difference maker? Would he have been the difference maker in a side that was Mexico that was defending on their heads the entire match?
You don't know. The speed that he brings, injecting him in the second half on top of the onslaught that was happening, I think he could have made a big difference. I think he wears down the defense.
Marco Royce coming in. And it's like, come on. Do you really think Leroy Sané would have made that big of a difference?
I think he might have. Listen, the only difference was 1 goal. It was only 1 goal. If it's 1 goal, you're talking about a great game, it was a tie. Not as much. No earthquake with 1. I don't think so. Again, I think it's just a mistake that he is not on the team. I think he's more than earned it playing the way he did this season.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, listen, kudos to Mexico. Christian says, I can never root for Mexico. And I'm not saying that I'm rooting for Mexico. I'm just saying that you need to give them props for beating this squad. Whether you support them or not, you got to look at this.
Listen, if you eat tacos or quesadillas, you have to give them props.
I do, and I do anyway.
Listen, at this point, you don't have a team in the tournament. I don't have a team in the tournament.
I do have a team.
Well, you've picked a team, but honestly, was it your first choice? No. Was it your second choice? No.
It was definitely like 3A.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't have a team. I am just rooting for good soccer to watch. I just want to see as many scoring chances and as many 3-2 or 2-1 games as possible because that's what's exciting.
Yeah. Dude, just a quick recap of the last couple games here. Another one that was kind of disappointing in a lot of ways was Brazil-Switzerland.
Yeah.
This was a game where, for the first 20 minutes, Brazil was down Switzerland's throat. They had their foot on the gas. They had the foot on Switzerland's throat the entire time. Coutinho buries a ridiculous shot from outside of the area at about the 20th minute. And then they just took their foot off the gas.
That's another team that's got so much talent that just needs to
What happened?
Get the work ethic
going.
What
do you guys think in the comments, by the way, about what happened to Brazil? Because, man, dude, they just, I don't know.
Listen, in the group stage, you can get away with this maybe. maybe once. You can't get away with it more than once because other teams will surpass you. They will get their wins while you're getting your ties, and you'll be on the outside looking in like Italy was last World Cup. You can't do that. You can't play for half the game. You have to 90 full minutes and go at it. And listen, the tournament's only so many games long. You're guaranteed your 3 games. You really have to push it these 3 games and then worry about what happens afterwards. You can't be thinking ahead. You can't be thinking that you're going to score a goal and park the bus for the rest of the game because that's not going to happen.
Not in this tournament.
With anybody, I don't think. I think every team is too powerful. Not powerful, but they've got too much riding on it to just roll over and let you park the bus on them. So for me, I mean, they got to step it up and they've got to be a little more cohesive. And it's just there's a certain cockiness when it comes to Brazil when they play soccer. And I think sometimes it might get the better of them. I think sometimes they think a little too far ahead and end up coming back to bite them like that 7-1 finish last time.
Yeah, last time around. In fairness to Neymar, which you really like, I don't like giving that guy the benefit of the doubt because if you're supposed to be one of the best in the world, you should be one of the best in the world. But dude, they bitch slapped him the entire game. It was like Joey on Facebook is saying about that GIF the video that we posted on Twitter earlier about the guy that just kept getting slide tackled. That was Neymar against Switzerland. Dude, that was bad.
Yeah, and there are teams that will do that. There are teams that will understand that, hey, play this guy rough and try to get points out of it or keep the damage to as minimal as possible and then take your chances with your other 2 opponents and see what happens there. And you'll get guys that'll do that. They'll come in hard and they'll try to disrupt your play, and especially when you're Brazil, you're up there. You're the tops and you play with a lot of style, you play with a lot of flair. Teams don't like that. Teams don't like seeing that happen, especially, in a world setting like that. So you'll see teams start playing those guys pretty hard. You'll see teams play Portugal pretty hard. You'll see teams play Spain pretty hard. Not to a point where it's dirty. I mean, you might, like there's other World Cups from the past that you've seen teams just destroy people because they have nothing better to do. Looking at you, Korea. But
I don't want to mention names.
Yeah.
Dude, a couple quick comments here. Jorge is saying, well, when you bench Firmino, I actually, at first I was going to say Gabriel Jesus needs to be able to get the job done. But I will say that because Firmino did come in later on in the game, and he did create some chances. So, I will agree with you on that. And also playing Alisson over Ederson, which that one I didn't get. I thought for sure we were going to see Ederson in goal. But again, this game didn't come down to keepers.
Yeah.
This game came down to Brazil not being able to score goals when you've got an offensive powerhouse. Like, it's just unbelievable.
And Switzerland's not a pushover either. Switzerland's ranked pretty high up there in FIFA. It's funny. There's a couple of nations that I would throw out at you, and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, they're not good," and they're actually pretty good.
Yeah,
like Denmark is one of them. Denmark is like 8th, I think, or something like that. They're in the top. And just you wouldn't think so, but when you look at them play, you understand that these guys they come prepared.
Yeah, no, that is for sure, dude. Moving over to Belgium, Panama today. I gotta tell you,
that game had me all over the place today.
I gotta tell you, I was kind of gunning for Panama in their first World Cup appearance, and for the first half, They kept the onslaught of Belgium at bay, but in my mind, I knew that it was a matter of time before somebody was going to start. I mean, the way that Hazard was ripping shots, you knew something was going to be happening. But I did have some kind of faith that Panama was going to be able to pull out some sort of a result. But then the second half came, and I was just like, all right, unload on them, let's go.
Yeah, the first half was great because they were able to survive. And they had a chance or two, and I really wanted them to score a goal. I wanted to see what Panama would have been like had they taken a 1-0 lead.
Yep.
That would have been cool. And Belgium has had its issues. They have been known to fall apart
in these types of settings. Absolutely.
Every time, yeah. So to see the way they came out in the second half and actually pulled it together, and everybody, that was a well-oiled machine you were watching in the second half of that game. Mertens, great, just ridiculous goal.
Oh, that strike.
And then you had the animal that is Lukaku, just cleaning everything up, was unreal. I mean, that team was just, when they play like that, it is freaking scary.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yep. Yeah, no, for sure. Just,
and you don't realize, Belgium, how many people they have on their team, because, like, you just, sometimes when you watch club football, nationalities don't always come to mind. So, like Mertens plays for Napoli. You don't think he's Italian, but you don't go to Belgium.
Yeah, you don't associate him with.
And it's not like the Belgium have like a set of names where you're like, oh, I know where these guys are from. Like the Suns. The Suns are from Iceland.
That's right.
The Skis are from Poland. We get that.
You go from
Belgium, you've got people from
to
everywhere.
De Bruyne, to Company.
Was it Carrasco's on there?
Yannick Carrasco.
You got Carrasco. That's not even close. So you look at their lineup and you're like, pound for pound,
stacked.
These guys are one of the most talented squads, and just they have never been able to just fully get together. But maybe with games like this, maybe they'll change it.
Yeah. It was again, it was one of those games because of the way that the other matches have been kind of like unfolding. It was one of those matches where I was like, I'm going to pay a little bit of attention to Panama here. I'm going to give them a little bit of love. And then I was like, I was wrong.
Nope. Sorry.
I was wrong. I want to bring up a quick comment here from Christopher from a few minutes ago who says, you two are the target audience for the Volkswagen commercials. I tweeted about that commercial, the one where it's like, listen, U.S., I know you guys don't have a team in this thing, but you should root for us. And maybe root for us.
The Swiss one where they're talking about the Swiss Army knife.
And tweezers.
Yeah, we have a tweezer.
We have the tweezers. It's like, but if that was a World Cup promo, like if that was the FIFA putting that kind of content out, I would have been like, what a slap in the face. But because it's Volkswagen, who's just a sponsor running some ad content during the World Cup, it's like, oh my God. But yes, you know what? As a matter of fact, I am the target audience for that because this is exactly what we do. We talk about and we appreciate other teams. I got to tell you though, dude, I think not having both of our teams in this cup is actually making me enjoy it a little bit more because I don't have the pressure.
I was just thinking that as we were discussing that last segment, I was thinking in my head.
Cue the Twitter hate. Twitter hate. But
I've been, but I have not that I don't enjoy it, but when Italy plays, I am so 150% focused on that team and following that team every day as the tournament goes on. Every day I'm following the news and the projected lineup and things like that and results. This is like I actually get to sit back and enjoy everything. Like I could literally take every day. I could pull the games up on mobile. I could listen to them, and I could watch and see what every single team is doing, and just realize at how special the game is because you've got world class players from every single country. You can't say that about other sports.
Yep.
You can't say that about football or basketball. Baseball you have a few, but soccer is like every single country has world-class athletes coming out of it. And to see them all on one stage, you can actually enjoy it. It's unreal. I really do am enjoying it. And I never used to watch all the games either. You'd watch the big ones here and there, but if Italy wasn't playing, I wasn't really interested because it takes so much to be interested and invested in a team. Whereas, now it's like, wow, I look what I've been missing this whole time.
So many games. Christian on Facebook says, I was angry about the U.S. missing it, but frankly, international play has never captivated me. I've had more fun watching as a neutral, and I agree. I think watching this as a neutral, listen, you have your favorites, you have your teams that you pay attention to more than others, but honestly, like, dude, I was even captivated by the Peru Denmark game. Like I was watching that going, this game is like end to end. It was just a lot of fun to watch, and that's something that normally, dude, I would never watch. Like I would never care about that.
No, but it's like you can take your emotions and put them aside for 90 minutes, and it's like watching a movie. And you as you're watching, you figure out what's going on and what's gonna play out, and you wait for the ending. And you know you're never gonna know what's gonna happen. So for me, to me, it's more enjoyable that way. Just because I'm not dealing with the heartache afterwards either.
That's the other thing, too. Carrie on Facebook is saying, hey, guys, thanks for the stickers. You are very, very welcome. Henry is asking, can we get some Swedish fish? Hope you guys enjoyed the video of Tinnerholm. Anthony's got this. He's been eating Swedish fish for 3 weeks because we had our backpacks full of them, guys. Thanks so much for all the love on that video, and thanks to NYCFC again for asking us to be a part of that one. Just a throw back to that. Joey is saying, I feel the same way. Can just watch some good soccer with no stress as Anthony is crushing some Swedish fish right now. Dude, the last couple of games here. Speaking of Swedish fish, Sweden ekes out the win against South Korea on a PK. A lot of PKs so far in this World Cup. Been a lot of them, and VAR involved a lot more than I thought it was going to be, which is good. I actually like that because it's a true outcome here.
I understand it takes away from that human aspect a little bit, but ultimately you don't want to see a team get cheated. You don't want to see another,
especially on this stage. Especially on this stage.
You don't want to see another Maradona hand of God situation where you've got no way of reversing something that's totally unacceptable. Just not going to happen. Like spike it, for me, I don't think it takes away from the game. I think it just makes it right. And you could still get it wrong or be on the borderline where you can't
not use it.
Yeah, you know it's possible. But I like the fact that, listen, I don't care if the game takes a few more minutes. I already want the games to go another half hour.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I love watching it. It's so much fun. But I prefer that the outcome be as fair and true as possible because the teams that are playing have fought so hard to get here. And any league, in any league where you could use it, all the teams have fought hard to get there, to be playing at that level. You owe it to them to get it right.
Yep. No, exactly. Dude, before we talk about the last match from today, guys in the comments, let's do a dude of the match day one, even though it's technically not over. Let's do dudes of the match day one. So who is the team that has played so far, as of, recording this, that gets the dudes of the week so far, as Anthony is crushing more Swedish fish? Throw them in the comments.
This is your fault.
Which team stood out to you as the ones that absolutely owned it and are crushing it so far in the World Cup, even though it's just one match? Let us know in the comments while we talk about England versus Tunisia. I was okay with that game ending with a draw because I don't like England. Fortunately enough, if you're Neville Longbottom, Harry Kane, you pick up a brace during the game in stoppage time.
First of all, the penalty was just why. If you're in the box and you're a defender, keep your hands down. Just keep them down.
There was no reason.
No.
Didn't have the ball.
He said a pick with his arms up, and that's just it. It wasn't an elbow. It was just arms up.
Slapping around a little bit.
Hindering the play. It's going to get called every time, especially when they have video now. And cameras that are specifically focused on exactly where you're standing. The camera angles. Right there.
Multiple angles.
It's just, that was stupid. And lucky for him that they were able to score the late one. And can someone tell me how the hell Harry Kane is that wide open?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to touch on that. But guys, you guys are putting people in the dudes of the match comments. I want teams. I think Jorge gets it because he spelled out Mexico letter by letter in comments. He's got so I want to know teams, not people, teams.
Well,
who was the team of the week?
You
so
said
far?
Dudes. Oh, you want
dudes?
You want a collective dudes?
Yeah, this is a collective dudes. That's what a team is. A collective. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear, all of you out there in Facebook land and iTunes land. It's Facebook land.
Facebook.
Yeah, dude. I don't know how you leave again. This is a squad that just fell apart at the absolute wrong time. To
hold on for that long is tough. But to
give it up like that.
The 85 minutes on goals are always the ones that are backbreaking because it does tell you that you've held on for that long, and just to have it slip away at the end it's so crushing.
You feel bad for Tunisia at that point,
You do, but at the same time I'm kind of glad that England won because I have them going through. So that's always great. But that last play happened, and you get the corner, you see everybody rushing, and I'm like, this one might go in. And then, ball's crossed into the middle. It's headed into the far post. And all of a sudden, it was like clouds and rays of sunshine just highlighting Harry Kane. And I'm like, as this is all happening, it's literally maybe 2 seconds, not even. It felt like 3 minutes. He had time to sit there, squat down a little bit, got ready to watch, judged it. I thought he was going to catch it like a fly ball. He looked like he was
the time.
And all of a sudden, he just rears back and smashes his head against it and just buries it. And I was like, you cannot leave anyone. I don't care who it is. You cannot leave anyone that wide open. Knock them down at that point if you have to, because it's that late in the game.
Yeah.
To do something to hinder that from happening, because to be that open and not offside is unacceptable.
Yep. Unacceptable for the defense, not for Harry Kane for being in that spot.
Yeah, no, he was perfectly placed, but just to be onside in that situation is just so bad.
If I'm not mistaken, those are his first World Cup goals.
Yes,
ever.
I think so.
Both of them, and he picked up brace in the beginning. Guys, give it up for Mexico for getting the dudes of the week, the team of the dudes of the week. Whatever the hell we're going to call it. It's not really a thing, but because we don't have a match for NYCFC to go over, Mexico wins. I don't know what they win. They win 3 points against Germany. That's good enough. And a spot on the seismograph. That's
unreal. And I think that's probably the biggest headline, and it's most well deserved. I think they played a complete game just to be able to survive that, and then to go on and win where they could have really done a lot more, and that game could have gotten out of hand and been embarrassing fairly quickly.
It was not. It was more embarrassing for Germany for sure. Just the way that things went down. Guys, as we wrap up the show here, now that we've got some matches going on and we've seen some teams, give us your final pick, not final pick, but this week's pick of who you got to win the cup. Throw them up in the comments while we wrap this show up. And in the meantime, guys, we really appreciate you.
Has it changed? Has your pick changed? Not you personally, but people listening. Has your pick changed in light of you seeing your pick play their first game?
And dude,
I think it's a little early to change.
We've still got what do we got? 2 more matches coming up. We got Colombia, Japan, and Poland and Senegal tomorrow. This is Tuesday. Both of those matches going on.
This is where I love where I work, because everybody's got their little phones out and they put the games on, and my boss is actually taking off tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. You're good.
To watch Colombia, and I'm like, this is why I love working for you, sir. This is great. You get it.
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching Colombia. I'll probably have an appointment at 11. I might just have it on my phone. Yeah, Jorge is saying no longer France, which is interesting after just one match that they actually did win, which is interesting. We got a couple.
It says a lot, though. It says a lot
for Belgium, for Germany. Spain lost in their opener in 2010. Belgium has a killer squad. They do, but I don't necessarily think they're going to be able to hold it together once they start playing the likes of Spain and Germany, and if France decides to wake up, and Brazil, and Mexico. Dare I say? Dare I say? Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was, this was fun talking about something that was not NYCFC. We were not angry, which is, I think, the most important part.
I'm not angry. This is the first Monday I'm not I don't have anything to pick on. I'm not. We could win, and I'll still find something to be angry about.
That's true. But this was fun. This was fun. This was fun to talk about this. Obviously, as the next coming weeks happen, I know we're going to have NYCFC matches resuming on Sunday night, starting with Toronto back at home. But we're definitely going to be talking a little bit of World Cup as things go on, because this is very, very difficult to ignore what's happening on this grand stage. NYCFC is one thing.
What's that?
This is definitely going on. We appreciate you guys for hanging with us for episode 109. Leave us a review if you guys have a minute after the show. Leave us the review on iTunes if you're listening, or on Facebook if you're watching, and let us know how you like the show. The feedback is greatly appreciated. Good, bad, or indifferent. It'd be really, really great. Lala was asking real quick, I tuned in late, but did you guys mention the new coach? Yes, we did, and he is still not here. So a lot of that remains to be seen. You can definitely go back and replay and re-listen if you missed that part, but we did have a little bit of a discussion on that. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, we're at Dudes in Blue. Sunday, if you guys want to come say hi to us, come say hi. We're in 109 on Sunday. You'll be there, right?
Oh, yeah. I will be there. And I guess they've been blocking people from coming down. But before the game, even if you don't have tickets for that section, they don't even let you down. I know a couple of people who have tried to come down and see us that can't get through. We'll probably hang out towards the top. This way, if you do want to say hi, you don't have to
send us a DM. I'll be checking Facebook and stuff too. So
our phones are always on. Yeah, definitely for sure. But I'll be hanging out up top beforehand, before kickoff. This way, anybody wants to come around and say hi. It's so much fun seeing people. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. People just saying that they enjoy it. Listen, you could be doing anything else, especially when the team hasn't played. But it's Monday and you spent 56 minutes with us if you've been here the whole time, or you're going to watch it later, and that's pretty cool. So thank you guys once again. You guys are awesome.
There you go. So we'll be back here Monday night, 8 p.m., talking about Toronto and the World Cup stuff that's gone on since you're listening to this. It's going to be a lot going on. Monday night, 8 p.m., thank you guys so much for tuning in. Episode 109, Dudes in Blue. Leave us those reviews. Let us know how we're doing, if you guys like it or if you hate us. Mainly if you like us.
And if you hate us, I will fight you.
Until next Monday night, guys. Stay
blue.